This is the craziest PvP experience. I was hoping, you know, we get some like good firefights, and because I wanted to have like a video to use for the video I'm going to be making for PvP. Well, let me clip this. Got him. That was sick. Jarvis clipped that. And victim to this movement and become mindless fucking mouthpieces for hatred, right? And end up doing crazy shit that threatens their life and fucks up their career and safety and everything, even fucking more than it was before, right? Like doing something that's like raiding the Capitol on behalf of the president. Oh yeah! That really did feel like Iron Man right there. Oh wait, no, I don't want to watch that shit. Got him. Winning. Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Hell yeah. That was badass. Amazing. Oh my god. What a game. What was that? How many kills did I get that game? 12. Fucking. It's my I want to see it. How many kills did I even get this game? It was like 4. Oh yeah? Let me look at the highlight. Got you. I got you, bitch.
I'm way more comfortable spinning around and reading about whoever. Instead, we can just talk about, regardless of definition, is it good or bad to reject democratic rules? Is it good or bad to threaten the media based on my principles, which value the threat the media?
So Trump has repeatedly called for like investigations into reporters, into media outlets. He believes that the business licenses of like ABC and CBS, MSNBC, he says, should be pulled. I mean, you don't see these sorts of threats from the Democratic Party.
Okay, so let's get into them.
Holy
Has Trump
shit,
pulled anybody's license ever as president? Has he actually sent any government officials to do any investigations of any major?
So you agree, though,
stop
him saying...
I like that. Oh no, I don't want to do that. Where's clip? Glad it didn't pick up. Almost accidentally started the rating process. I don't even know if the clip actually worked to actually get the whole clip. It doesn't seem like it did. What the fuck? Oh my god. Yo, this is crazy. It's like the bus, but it's just a whole house. Attack the creepy arms. What, just these? Just want some poverty, all that other stuff. They end up falling into this so hard. And in a way, they end up becoming victims, despite the fact that they vote and act against other people and victimize other people and do really fucked up, terrible things. They've just got really swept up by the movements of power that these people have exerted over them. right? Oh yes, this is the best. Oh yeah, I love this fucking play.
You know how much I sacrificed?
He was so mad when that kill, he just hunted me down after that. Once he came back, he went straight forward. It's not the same thing every single time. When you do space ripples, the objective will always change. There's only been a couple of them that I've seen so far. Like, there's one where a Gatling gun drops and you have to shoot a lot of enemies at once. And, like the one I just did where you have to kill all the eggs and stop all the guys from spawning. That was the highlight? It was the highlight for you? That was funny as shit, dude. Oh, that's a nice highlight that I got for me. Fucking them up. No. Is it destroyed? I'm blowing up. I'm shooting this shit.
So he was just gonna do that, which is kind of fucked up because you're gonna have people who aren't actual legit soldiers play soldiers, and it's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
Gladly, if you want to use the National Guard, a governor of that state is in direct control of the National Guard, so Trump has no control of that. If you have a guy who's like in the blue state and Trump orders him to use the National Guard, he can refuse, and Trump can't do shit about it, you know, because directly the governor.
Let's do this! What's my clip? What's my highlight? This? I guess because I protected everybody? Oh. Oh, man!
Happen to hear something, it takes away all of the weight and momentum. But this is going to come back later. I do want to put this out later because, like I said, I thought that this was interesting, but I will be harping on it later. So, we are now introduced to our main character, Jeff, the young man, presumably mid-teens, because once again, God forbid they give us any kind of age to really give an idea. Not even like a grade, like they say, because the whole thing here is.
All I gotta do is hit the ground. Nice, I walked off and got my did and got booted. Wow. That's annoying. How is this my highlight? I feel like I had gotten cooler shit before. That was a five-player kill streak, but still, dude, I fucked up the whole team at some point, just bombarding them with that, like, green Hulk shit, that radiation stuff. Oh my god. Where are they? Alright everybody, I'm on here. I'm live, not for a very long time. Welcome. Happy, what day is it today? Fuck, I don't even remember. Fucking February, was it Wednesday? Wednesday the 19th? Welcome, hope you're doing well. I need to sit down, right? I need to make a public declaration. I think it's about that time to go back over my own opinions, my own ideas, right? This is in reference, particularly yesterday, to a little bit of a debate or argument that I had with a former regular viewer. And I figured, I don't want to mince words, I don't want to be unclear about how I feel with all these important issues. And it seems to be the case that in I don't know if it's like in our American like nature, whatever it is, to continue to dig and find and look for divisions as much as possible and create some where there are none, because we just can't be bothered to ever actually to share opinions that differ very little from each other, but still work together to make some of those things possible. I don't know why that's impossible for the United States right now. Anyways, important issues. Let's see, what do we got to talk? Most glaring important issue, I would say, in regards to particularly what had happened yesterday, is the Israeli-Palestine issue, right? I do think that out of all the issues that the United States citizens and American people argue about, I feel like this is the one that is the most divisive right now beyond immigration, right? Because this issue is something that most Americans don't understand, even smart Americans, because they just haven't had the time or dedication spent to look deeply into this, right? Most people don't, and I don't fault them for that. However, because this is a foreign issue, this is not a domestic issue, a lot less is understood about this amongst the general public, right? And it seems to be the case, just like with everything else here in the United States, that violence, right, extreme shit brings out extreme emotion, right? And the United States people love that shit for some reason. They really love feeling extreme emotion to extreme things. It's almost like we're addicted to having those types of reactions when it comes to stuff. And I understand having extreme feelings to extreme things, right? But what I don't understand is the need to do extreme actions in response to these extreme feelings, or to set aside ration and logic in favor for these extreme feelings, right? And when it comes to war, when it comes to violence, I think most people are against it. I would say most people are against it. It's hard for me to find somebody who I want to ask, hey, do you like warfare? Do you like people killing each other? I don't think I'll ever hear yeah, I like that shit, unless they're a psychopath, unless there's something mentally fucking wrong with them, right? I think that's very easy to understand. I don't think that's a hard, thing to agree on. I hope it's not, at least. So, I get it when faced with violence, people feel extreme things, right? I totally understand, right? Totally understand. But what I would assume would be the case is the smart way to approach the situation to prevent extreme violence from happening again, or to handle extreme violence that had happened and the consequences from that, is to think rationally and logically. Understand what had caused this, understand who or why it had happened, understand and try to figure out what's the best way to stop, right? Intelligence, understanding, rational logic, all that kind of shit, I love that stuff, right? I think we should try going for that more. So, when it comes to very simple things, it's very cut and dry, right? When it comes to something as complicated as Israeli-Palestine conflict, it'll take some fucking time. It's gonna take some time to cut through everything, right? If you feel extreme feelings towards this extreme violence and you want to do something about it, take the time. Take the time to look through it. And when I say look through it, right, what I don't mean is fever search, right, in a rage fit, just start Google searching every single fucking raw footage video you could find from on the ground conflict, from people shooting each other and shit like that, and trying to analyze the whole situation that way, because that's not gonna fucking work. Of course not, right? You're gonna sit here on Instagram or on YouTube or whatever and just search all day Israel Palestine fight, fucking gunfire, hospital blown up, all this kind of shit. You're not gonna find much information, right? What you will find is a lot of propaganda from both sides, right? Because a lot of that stuff's ingrained in the raw footage. It seems to be a symptom of the modern age of being online and connected totally online. We see when things happen, breaking things happen, we see them live on air with no cut, no nothing, right? And that just gets sent out. We as people over here in the United States won't know the context of the situation that's unfolding right before our eyes as we watch it. We don't even understand the language that's being spoken by the people who are in the video, right? We need to rely on other people to do that translation for us, which, you know, in times and things like this requires a lot of trust, right? Because depending on who translated the video, it could be some really biased shit. It could be completely wrong. They could be saying something that they're definitely not saying, and it has been the case a lot of the times. This has been happening since the beginning of not just the Israel-Palestine war, but also the Ukraine war. Russia is really smart with this. They constantly push out Russian propaganda videos that paint the Ukrainian soldiers in a light that makes them seem like they're doing a lot worse than they actually are, right? And I'm not saying that's exactly what the fuck is happening here in Israel and Palestine, that we're seeing fake videos and shit like that. What I'm saying is a lot of times we can't, as people, can't discern who is actually Palestinian, who's Israeli, what the fuck is it that they're saying, and what has happened, what has led up to this, or what happened afterwards. We can't discern any of that. And a lot of the information that we get from all that comes from journalists, from people who are experts, people who have spent a lot of time researching all this kind of shit, right? So, what do we do know? What do we do know, right? We know that Israel was created a while back with the help of Britain and the help of other international communities, and established a state there for the huge influx of people who were surviving the Holocaust, a lot of Jewish people who survived the Holocaust, and displaced Jewish people from all over the world who had migrated out of Germany and other countries nearby Germany during World War II, right? We understand that that's what had happened. Yes, we understand that the land that the British people had owned at the time was stolen from the local region, the people who were there, Palestinian people, which, I must remind you guys, Jewish people were living there already, right? We're Palestinian Jews, right? Just like there are Israeli Palestinians right now, right? It wasn't just one fucking individual group of culture that was living there, right? There was a whole mix of Arab nations that were living in there, including the Jewish people who have been living there for thousands of fucking years, right? So you had a huge influx of German Jewish people, Polish Jewish people, all types of Jewish people who were displaced during World War II from all these different countries that needed somewhere to go, and the international communities took it upon themselves, without the permission of the Palestinians that were living there, to establish a state, right? In response to this, the huge influx of Jewish people coming in to this region, right? I need to also paint this picture and remind everybody the Jewish people were not always accepted very well in this region for a very long time, spread throughout not just the Palestinian Gaza Strip, but all these Arab nations, from Egypt to Iran to Afghanistan. All these countries did not have a particularly positive outlook on the Jewish people. You could look up pogroms, you could look up all types of executions and ethnic cleansing type situations that were committed against the Jewish people for a very long time in these regions. Yes, this region experienced a type of wartime peace, right? So it had peace for hundreds of years under the Ottoman Empire, right? But it still was the case that all types of Arab nations lived in this region, and the Jewish people particularly weren't treated very well, right? This is all there. All there? It's all there, right? So, what happens after this? All the Arab nations, they attack Israel. They don't like them being there. They start bombing the shit out of them. They start doing terrorist attacks. And what happens is decades of war between all the nations. Egypt eventually switched sides and joined with helping out Israel. But it's still the case that Israel is constantly under attack from its neighbors, right? All of the situation, everything that's been going on, completely influenced, again, by the international communities, including Britain, including the United States. They have a large part into play in what was going down, right? The Arab people were lied to. The Jewish people were lied to many times by the international communities and what was promised, especially leading up to the creation of the Palestinian state, right? Everybody was lied to. Everybody was being fucked. Everybody was being conned by, again, the international communities. The United States, Britain, most of the other big players in Europe, right? So, where are we now? We're stuck in a loop, right? If you look between the time of, like, I guess when Clinton was in office till now, we've been stuck in a loop where the international communities keep giving both sides reason to keep fighting. And when they finally try to sit down and get them both to agree to what has been the only solution on the table, which is a two-state solution, there has always been pushback. And it's not just pushback from Israel, it's also pushback from the current ruling powers of Palestine, which happen to be Hamas. Hamas has no interest. This is where the big issue lies. This is where the big fucking issue lies. If you want to understand why there hasn't been a lot of peace going on here, is because both sides have been incentivized to continue to believe that it's absolutely necessary to keep fighting until their enemy no longer stands and no longer exists anymore, right? And that is the problem that we're having right now. However, Israel's idea of achieving this isn't so much as let's round everyone up, put them in fucking concentration camps, gas them, slaughter them in mass, in that style, right? The solution is to keep expanding their territory and just push them out, right? Either absorb them or push them out. And you can't say that they haven't absorbed them, right? So this is where one of my major criticisms lies against calling this whole situation a genocide, is that the Palestinian people, so, like, if they go, I guess, I'm not sure what the process is, but they are allowed to have a citizenship in Israel if they so sought it. If they had sought it. There are Palestinians who are living in Israel who have citizenship, and those people are not treated any differently than the other citizens, right? They're not being persecuted, they're not having their shit stolen from them, they're not being beaten to death all day, every day, right? They live there. And if you go to Israel and talk to people, everyone is of differing opinions on what's going on, how it's being handled, and whether or not they actually support Netanyahu, whose popularity has been falling. It has been falling, right? We need to take all this into consideration. Hamas, on the other hand, has no incentive to stop fighting, and their perspective or their solution to everything is a one-state solution where they slaughter all the Jewish people, do not let them stand, create our own Palestinian state, and then continue our crusade against the Jewish people and make sure their culture is wiped out from the face of this earth, right? Not just on the Gaza Strip, but all over the Middle East, right? And preferably the rest of the world if they can get to that. Right? That is what they prey on. It's not just their goal, it's their creed, right? It's exactly what they're fucking built upon. And that is a massive issue as well. How are you supposed to create peace deals with shit and create a whole two-state solution when the person you're trying to do that with doesn't believe you should be alive anymore, right? That's literally fucking impossible. And again, they have no incentive to stop fighting because, of course, Israel keeps expanding when they shouldn't be, right? And the entire international community is against that. I have seen that they've been against that. So again, what is it that the United States supports, right? Because a lot of the criticism I hear against the Democrats is that they support a genocide, right? They're not fucking supporting them shooting all these people and killing all these people, rounding them up and putting them in concentration camps. They're supporting the continued existence of Israel and its original borders, right? To make sure that the people of Israel don't experience a genocide themselves, right? Because that's what's been threatened against them for the last almost, 50 to 100 years now? That's literally what's been threatened to them. So we know what's going to happen to them if Israel falls and they stop receiving support. That is where the fucking I guess hang up is, right? We don't have another solution besides a two-state solution. and Israel does need to return back its settlements, like the fucking settlements that they've established beyond its original borders. To get them shits out. They didn't have the right to do that in the first place, right? It is very easy, very reasonable. I think everybody should be capable of doing this, to coming to a conclusion that puts both sides under the scrutiny and accountability that they both need to be held against and held to, right? And to zoom out and see that the only players, that the other players that are involved in this situation happen to be the bearers of guilt, the bearers of responsibility. It's not just Israel, it's not just Palestine, it's the international communities who've created this shit show. They're the ones that need to be responsible for fucking solving it, right? And again, when it comes to doing anything about this, the only solution is to, for us, right, here in the United States, is to make sure that the leaders that we elect are going to do something about that shit, right? They're gonna do something about that shit. Why is it that the number one complaints that I ever fucking hear about the Democrats are from people who did nothing at all to stop someone from taking power who was not going to help the situation, who's not going to be held accountable and take control, or at least start to push for a solution to this, rather than keep having it continue on forever and ever, right? The solutions that have been given to us by the people who do fucking nothing in the United States, who don't even vote for anybody, right? Their solution is to allow another genocide to unfold. That's their solution. And again, specifically, people like Food Hunter, people like the viewer who I spoke about that I had an argument with yesterday, think that the solution to the situation is another genocide. Is another fucking genocide. The fuck? I don't get it. I feel like that alone should be enough to bring most people, to bring them to a pause, to have to reconsider what it is exactly that they're advocating for. Because, again, the only way you would understand that this is going to happen, that's what's going to happen if we have a one-state solution, is to understand what Hamas is doing and the position where Hamas is at. Because for every picture and video the Food Hunter was able to send me of an IDF soldier committing a war crime that should be held accountable for, I could also find you a video of Hamas doing equally as bad, if not worse, horrific violence, right? Every single video you have to show me of IDF doing that, I can also find you Hamas doing that. The more you send and talk about this shit and focus on those videos, the less you get done. The less you get done. Because you, first of all, you're not making any point that no one has already agreed with you, that this is bad, right? No one is disagreeing that this had happened. No one is disagreeing that this is bad. Of course it's fucking bad to shoot babies in wartime. Doesn't make any fucking sense. That's not what's being argued here. And if your mind, your simple mind, collapses into only thinking about, but they're doing bad violence, so that means they must be doing the worst type of violence ever, that doesn't make any fucking sense. It just doesn't. And also, to jump to the conclusion that it's automatically a genocide doesn't make any sense either. Because, for example, I don't see anyone calling the Vietnam War a genocide, despite the fact that it has a lot of similar characteristics and qualities as the Israeli war does, right? There was violence, that was war crimes and humanitarian violence that the United States soldiers did against those people, right? They did slaughter entire villages, they fucking invaded, they did all this other stuff, but it's not considered a genocide. Why? Why is it not considered a genocide? Because it's the intention in which the government is carrying out said violence, right? And it's also in the methodology in which the violence is being carried out, right? When you take a look at any other genocide period, you see very common characteristics, right? You see thousands, hundreds of thousands of people being rounded up, being put into vehicles or being forced to walk long distances to the middle of fucking nowhere where they kill them in mass and bury them in huge fucking graves and they move on to the next group of people that they can fucking find, right? It's not basic fucking warfare, right? Where there's two groups of soldiers shooting at each other and gunfighting in the streets, right? That's not how this shit unfolds. What we've been seeing has been a fucked up war. What we've been seeing is a war where both sides have been committing war crimes and atrocities and humanitarian crises, right? Both sides have been doing exactly this, right? Both sides have been guilty of committing said violence, right? What the fuck is happening? Why are we not accusing Hamas of also committing a genocide? Because it's, again, the reasoning is because of the method, the mens rea. That's what it's called. It's mens rea. The intention in which they're carrying out the crime, right? They need to have the intention that they want to remove and ethnically cleanse entire groups of fucking people. And that's the only reason why they're doing this. What is Israel's intention in this war? It's to ensure its continued survival. It's to ensure its continued survival. All its neighbors right now, not even Palestine. You could take a look at Hezbollah, right? Well, I guess they're neuter now, they've been fucked up. But they've been all being bombed by all sides. Right? Everyone except Egypt has been attacking Israel over and over and over again for the last few decades. And again, you can have your fucking completely fair criticisms, as I do and I share, that the settlements that Israel is doing is wrong. They shouldn't be doing that. They shouldn't be doing that. Israel's doing a bunch of fucking wrong shit. Israel should be holding their IDF soldiers accountable for all the fucked up crimes that they've been doing and make sure that doesn't happen anymore. They should be doing more, right? But why is it that they're getting away with all of this? And why is it that the violence keeps continuing? It's because the international communities aren't doing shit. Because the international communities are too fucking stupid and have no clue about what's happening over there enough to elect somebody who could actually help resolve the problem, or at least push the bar closer to a resolution. And again, what is the only resolution? It's a two-state solution. If you don't support, this is where I'm drawing my line, and this is my declaration, and this is the purpose of me having this entire stream, period. If you do not support a two-state solution, if you support a one-state solution, and when I ask you what's going to happen to the Jewish people of Israel, and your response to me is fuck them, get the fuck out of here. You will be banned. You'll be banned. I will not have that kind of mentality floating around my community. Just flat out. I'm just not going to. If you have zero consideration for the lives of not just the Israeli citizens, the Jewish people, right? Beyond Netanyahu. I'm not talking about Netanyahu. I'm not talking about those fucking IDF soldiers who are doing war crimes, right? I'm talking about the old lady, the old Jewish Israeli lady on one of the streets who all she fucking does is cook food for her grandsons every fucking day, right? I'm talking about those people. If you don't give a fuck about those people and what's gonna happen to them if their state collapses, right? Get the fuck out of here. That is 100% anti-Semitic shit. You are in the same bed as fucking Nazis, because remind you again, these are the descendants of the victims of the Holocaust, right? You don't care for their lives and what happens to them, right? Which is fucking crazy. And somebody like Food Hunter, if you're someone who lives in Germany, right, happens to be a German citizen, advocating for the death and destruction of the Jewish people of Israel, how am I supposed to not look at you in any other light other than a fucking Nazi? Like, other than a fucking Nazi. Take into consideration a lot more, open up your mind to a much larger scope, and treat other groups of people like human fucking beings for once, instead of automatically reacting into blind hatred towards violence because you just see violence and assume that every single person that lives in Israel is 100% in support of this, and every single person shares the same exact mind as fucking Netanyahu. Come on, man. Like, that kind of logic is high school, not even. I feel like high schoolers are capable of seeing beyond that kind of fallacy. Much easier. That's elementary school logic right there. The world isn't black and white, right? We can hold both sides accountable, recognize those crimes without jumping to conclusions about shit that actually isn't even fucking unfolding. It's fucking nuts. Nuts! Good afternoon, bro.
This is real firepower!
Oh yeah, brother. I have to say that. I just needed to put my foot down with that. We're not advocating for the genocide of anybody. Nobody's gonna be killed out here. I don't care if it's... Don't tell me that you don't care about the Israeli lives just because their government's doing fucking war crimes. Alright? Don't tell me that bullshit. And this applies to any other situation out there. Right? Any other fucking situation out there. I'm not gonna support the genocide of every fucking Russian just because I disagree with what Russia does and their government and all that kind of shit. Right? I'm not gonna advocate for any of that kind of stuff because it doesn't make any sense. If you're gonna be this person who wants to ride on their high horse, right, and be like all morally superior in this shit, right, and tell me that you're just fighting against genocide, why the fuck is it that your solution to the genocide is another genocide? Like, just don't even bother. Don't even bother. If that's as far as you could think, then you're fucking screwed in the head. I mean, unless the reason why you think a one-state solution works is because you genuinely believe that Hamas and what is it, the other Arab nations are just going to be welcoming with fucking open arms and shit to the Jewish people and totally treat them okay, treat them fucking normal. Yeah, right. And if you're not willing to offer up your own country as a safe haven for Israelis, for them to create Israel Point 2, then shut the fuck up. Then shut the fucking fuck up. There's only one solution. Two-state solution. Get Israel to stop doing fuck shit, get Netanyahu out of power, return those settlements back to Israelis. That's what we need to do. We need to hold those people accountable. The IDF soldiers need to be held accountable. They need to be fucking tried in war court, right? But we can't do any of this shit if we're stuck arguing about what it is that Israel's fucking doing and accusing them of something completely different, where they get to use what you're doing as ammunition to carry on with their fucking plans. Because the more and more you lean into this argument that they're committing a genocide, the more and more Palestinians and other lives are going to be put into danger. That's it. That's all I can say about that. Like, if you really want and care about the survival of these people, do your due diligence. Look into what you're saying a little bit more. Stop and think before you tell somebody you don't care about the lives of a whole fucking civilization, let alone a state, a city-state. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. I had to lay that out there. I had to lay that out there. Woo! Turn up your volume or turn down the music. Oh shit, is it still loud? Oh, I might have left my what is it? I had an audio can't speak. The audio filter that I had on before. I was messing around with shit because what was it? Those AI bots that came in yesterday were trying to like stop my stream because I was watching YouTube content. So I was trying to see if I could find a fucking filter or something. Maybe this works. I don't know if that's a little bit better. Well, you might not be able to hear the music at all now. Also, my mic's fucked up, I think. Regardless, anyway, I have to say that. My support, my idea, my solution, my side of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, two-state solution, get Netanyahu, all IDF soldiers tried for war crimes and whatever the fuck, replace them with an actual leader and stop this, try to initiate some violence. But we also have to remove, in order to get the two-state solution, we have to remove Hamas. Hamas can't continue to exist. They just can't. There's no fucking way. Palestine needs to be ruled by actual good faith democratic system and governance that they can create themselves, right? It cannot be created by a whole group of people whose ideology is ingrained in their creed that the Jewish people must suffer and die and that we need to continue carrying on violence, right? We cannot keep having that happen, because the last time we tried to have this shit happen, that's exactly what had unfolded. And it's to the blame again to the international community for not setting Palestine up with a good path forward when they had the chance to create their own individual state. Instead, they allowed Hamas to rise to power because there was a power vacuum. There was still the remnants of these rebel soldiers and shit and what have you. The international community needs to enforce Israel and make sure they don't continue to spread settlements and expand after this peace has been, or after the fighting has stopped, right? We have to make sure both sides don't continue to instigate the other into more war. And again, that responsibility falls on the United States and its allies, and the United States will never come to an agreement about how to approach this because the citizens are too busy arguing over dumb fucking shit and arguing for a solution that would fuck everything up over there. So I guess, you know, maybe the Dems are just trying their best to bring this to some kind of conclusion, but they just couldn't because everyone's stepping in their fucking way. I don't know. That's my own, I guess, what is it? Conclusion or suspicion about this. Anyways, when it comes to everything else that's going on, the United States citizens also need to be more aware when it comes to their constitutional rights, when it comes to what exactly it is the government's even fucking doing right now. And I think the reason why we haven't been so intense about it, we haven't been breaking out in protests and shit, is because most people have just given up. They feel burnt out. They think there's nothing that they can do. And I get it, because so much effort that we've put over the last 4 years seems to be dismantled very quickly once Trump gets into office. But I must say, and I need to remind you guys, that the only way that anyone in the government can get shit going for us, right? So let's say we have elected officials who are on our side but feel really overpowered because of what Elon Musk and them are doing. We need to put the external pressure on these agencies by being as annoying as fucking possible, right? And I'm starting to kind of figure this out. I think, you know, personally, one of the things I do is I call these politicians up and I leave them like fucking 5 voicemails if I need to and shit, just complaining about all the stuff they need to fix. I don't care. I don't care if they'll disregard any of this kind of shit. I know that at some point they need to listen. I know that some of these politicians actually do, and it will make a difference if a bunch of people do it at once, right? It will. I've seen it happen before. It happened during COVID. It's what led to Trump losing the very first time, as a matter of fact. And I think we just need to tap into that motivation again. And the Democrats need to be the ones to stand up and fucking ignite that fire instead of being in the cuck chair and kind of just waiting for the right to kind of just see the consequences of their own actions. It's like we're expecting and sitting around just expecting them to realize eventually, oh shit, we fucked up, we voted for the wrong thing. That's never going to happen. They're just going to keep convincing themselves that the entire world is actually improving without actually acknowledging anything that's going on, right? So we need to take it to the streets. We need to be loud about it. I just don't know where all that passion from during the COVID era went. Like, we were passionate as fuck when we saw George Floyd getting killed and shit on TV. Like, where the fuck is any of that while the richest man in the world tears apart our fucking government? Like, we should be on that same level again. And I think little increments, I would encourage everyone, find out who your local politician is, call them up, talk some shit, find out what they've done recently, find out what they fucking didn't do, and just call them up, because you know what, you got nothing else to do. Why not? I mean, we do have other things to do, we got work and shit, but I know that you can find the time during your day to just call them, like do it on your fucking break, and just leave them a fucking voicemail, right? We need to start getting shit done, and we can't wait around for like a virus to happen and lock us back in our houses. Yeah, because we were trapped on board. Yeah, we were trapped on board. But the thing is that we need to find that. We need to find that again, because even though we're no longer trapped and we're no longer completely bored, we're about to be completely fucking screwed, and we'll be way worse than trapped and bored at that point. We'll be trapped and dead. We're screwed. We don't even have access to most of the things we have nowadays. So we need to do something about this encroaching MAGAism, but I just have to put some encouraging words out there that we can make a difference. It's happened before. We can do it again. I know this is tiring. I know it's the same shit every fucking day. It's like nails on the chalkboard at this point, right? But we can't sit around this time. We just can't. Otherwise, we're not gonna get another chance to do anything about this again. Like, this is our last shot. And if we don't take it now, we're not going to get it again. We just literally won't. We can't rely on the world around us to fucking pick up the pieces and build up shit back together, because that's not the mentality that we exist in anymore as society, unfortunately. But I gotta head out of here, man. I gotta go to work. Unfortunately, I can't be on for too long. I might not be on tonight either, because I'm gonna be tired as fuck. But I just needed to make that statement. If you don't agree with me on the Israeli-Palestinian situation 100%, that's totally fine. But if you believe that killing all the Jewish people is a solution, or that one-state solution is the solution and you don't care about what happens to them by Hamas and all that kind of shit, you're going to be banned from this community. I'm not going to have that shit in here. We're not going to argue about that kind of stuff. That's my putting my foot down on that. So, take it easy. Be safe. Unless you're a fucking anti-Semitic piece of Nazi shit who wants them all to fucking die, get the fuck out of here. But drink water.